Hello everyone, welcome to the sessions of Psychology of Adolescence. Last week we talked about achievement and motivation. That is chapter 11, and the remaining topic of the chapter 11 is work and career. So it's more achievement, it's more narrow, the things and specific things you do, and work is more broad and career is more broader, the concept. So second topic of the work, first of all, we have to understand that it's a change of the adolescent's life in terms of their participation in the work. Especially socio-historical context, we see that the adolescents, is more increasing number of the adolescents, they are involved in the paid labor. Maybe it's just a part-time job, and easily we can see that gas station in Korea, or the McDonald's and the fast food restaurant, we see that the adolescents they are serving to get the money. It's not full-time job, it's a more temporary paid labor. And spending large amount of the time in paid labor, and the consequences, actually it's not the positive. See that it's a more limited developmental benefit of the participating in the paid labor among the adolescents, and it's more associated with the risk behaviors. So certain the groups of the adolescents, when they drop out of the school, they working in a certain restaurant, and it's just a temporary job, and they just they make the money so daily basis, and they spending whole money they make. So it can be very negative, antisocial, the membership of these people. And also, there is a lot of cost to physical health to do the work. So it's all negative, more negative implication. And part-time work in adolescence, again, it's more negative effects we can see, that especially academic achievement have the influence by their spending more time in making money. So even the college, it's more popular, more students are working to make money. So there's some positive aspect of the working while going to college is that paying part of your tuition. It's very helpful, but also there's a negative part of the working while going to the college is that a negative impact on GPA and college success. So in the long run, if you spend too much time to make money, and you cannot have a good GPA, so you failed in the college. In that way, you can limit the opportunity to get the good job. Then probably there is no point for you to spend the time to work during the college. So here it's the graph shows that if the students involved in the work, it's 35 years, is almost a full-time job. Then they are negative influences on the grade, the perception. So this is a kind of very positive relation between perceptions of negative influences on their GPA and the amount of money they are working. So have to be very careful how much time and those involvement in your job, how does that impact on your GPA? That is a very necessary step. But you need to deal with some transition, the issues from school to the work. So high school even, we need to help the adolescents make a transition from school to employment, all right? So have to remember that in these days, across the culture, across the nations, just having a high school diploma have a very limited opportunity you can get with a high school diploma, just that diploma. So have to provide other options here, so career academics and youth apprenticeships or teacher prep programs. But remember that in Korea particularly, we have a highest rate of the college entrance. So more than 80% of the high school students, they go to the college. So maybe this need is a little bit lower, but other countries, in Western countries, it's not all the high school students going to the college. But remember that having just a high school diploma, they cannot really provide themselves based on their salary. So we needed to provide that other types of preparation for them to have some kind of good transition from school to the employment. Same things at the college. Probably the college students be aware of the reality. It's a more slim down of the opportunity to have a good job and good opportunity to have a high paid employment. So needed to be prepared, kind of a co-op, kind of a paid apprenticeship, so internship system. So have to be provide those information where or what kind of internship is more make a good shape of your resume when you apply for the job finally after graduation. So this is a necessary step or career-based learning. So I talk about the negative influences of the work, especially if you work just for payment. That's a very temporary reason, and there is a more negative aspect of it. But in terms of a career-based learning, it's necessary in these days because the issue is that if you don't have a good the background and good resume, then your possibility to get a good job it's more limited. So not just after graduation of the school diploma, itself is not sufficient to guarantee have a good job. So you needed to prepare for career-based learning, and that is actually transition period of the time from school to employment. You needed to do something. So working in an emerging adulthood, you remember that emerging adulthood, it's not just the adult yet, but the late years of the college, we call them as emerging adulthood. And remember, it's more competition. The job market is more competitive, getting more. So increase the demand for more skilled workers. So not just the high GPA, you need to show and some kind of evidence you are ready to provide and also satisfy the need of the employer. So have to have some sense of the work in actual real world. So that's the demand in these days. So the issue is that it's not just because a lack of job, but the problem is that a lack of a good job. So if you wanted to have a good job, meaning that not just taking care of your GPA is not enough. You needed to prepare yourself, and also you needed to have a certain unique background for yourself and to sell yourself as the better the position. So that's your responsibility. So the individual level of education during transition from school to work is very important. So rather than just to do the hobby things, but have to be aware of that there is some demand from outward. And now I want to talk about the career. And when you think of the career, what kinds of images or what kind of similar concept comes up in your mind? Maybe some students think that career is a job, or some students that think that that's occupation. This is a part of the category of the career, but career, it's more broad concept. The root of the terminology of the career is coming from cargo. It's kind of the wagon of your life. So when you drive your cargo, you need to know that where you are going. So you need to have some sense of direction. And also to push your cargo, you need energy. That is motivation issues. So career, not necessarily that is a particular job or occupation, even though that is a very essential part of your career. But when I say the career, it's a more broad concept. Throughout your life, you need to be more responsible and take care of your career development. There are certain the theories to explain the career development, and this is a kind of the classical, the theories of the career development. First, the theory is developmental theory, suggested by the Ginsberg, and second one is self-concept theory, developed by the Super, and the last one, Holland suggests the personality type theory. And briefly, we are going to go over each theory. Ginsberg, he realized that developmentally, the people think of their career choice based on different factors and different formats. For example, before 11 years old, it's a fantasy stage. And probably you remember that when you are quite young, before 11 years old, and when people ask you what you're going to be in the future, then maybe you said, I'm going to be a president, or I'm going to be a firefighter, or I'm going to be the entertainer or singer. That it can be realistic, but usually those are young children based on their fantasy and see that the TV shows and see that it's a fable. And they realize that kind of the very fantastic kind of thinking of their career choice. We call that's area at the fantasy stage. And then 11 and the 17 years old, it's a more earlier, the stage of adolescence. It's a tentative stage. So they realize that after getting to the junior high school, there is a reality. Oh, see my GPA. And see my physical appearance. I'm not that attractive to be at the movie star, something like that. So they have a certain options of the career and the not final decision, but tentative decision, and see that whether I am really good at this subject particular to pursue this particular career or not. So that's a tentative stage. But after you getting to entering the college, you have your major. And the more opportunity to see the real employment of their life. And then now, finally, you can have a more realistic thinking of your career choice. And we call those stages as a realistic stage. So that's a Ginsberg idea. Super, he kind of the different in terms of the career development. He starts the adolescence. Because in his age, the people actually don't start to think about their career when they are very young. So he thinks after they enter junior high, they crystallize their self-concept. Like, for example, I'm kind of a person, verbal, or I'm kind of person who are good at the painting. So maybe I wanted to do major artistic area. So that's a kind of a crystal idea of their self-concept. That is starts about this age. And then if you have a certain solid idea of who you are, then more specify afterwards. So this is a college area, college at the time, and you have more specific idea who you are and what area you are good at. And then based on that self-concept, you implement something, do something like an internship, or try something, new job, and to see that whether you have good fit in the job or not. So that's implementation. So after this time is a consolidation. So if you find that that is really good, the career, good match of your self-concept, then maybe you can try other things and to consolidate of your choice of career. So that is a Super's idea. And the personality type theory developed by Holland, and the theory is very popular because he developed the aptitude test, and probably you have opportunity to take the Holland test for your career choice. His basic idea is that to match individual's personality type with the career choice. So he divided different types of personality: realistic, investigative, and artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. Next slide shows each personality type here. And his idea is this. First, a realistic type of personality. They like doing things rather than they like thinking, okay? And they like the things rather than people. So we call those personality as a realistic. So when they work, labor things, so using their hands and actually do something, they have really fun and they are excited about it. And also they like work with the things rather than work with the people. So that's their the style. But opposite style is a social type of the personality. These people is more interested in helping and working with the people they are more interested in. So they imagine themselves in a work situation, not just the solo worker, more they are surrounded with other people and teaching and counseling and helping other peoples and nursing. So that's helping professional peoples. Probably their personality is a social personality. And second type is investigative. It's they like thinking rather than doing. So these people is the doing first before thinking, but these people think first before doing. So usually these people like idea, playing with the idea and concept. So usually they are the researcher and or professors. So using their mind more because they like thinking and those abstract concepts, they are really fun. Opposite style is enterprising. Their style is more manager. And they like the people working with the people, but different motivation. Social people is the helping people is they're more interested in. But enterprising people is that they want to have a more need of the power. So they want to have a more influential the position, like a top leader and top position of the management. So that's their style. So it's kind of difficult, different from investigative and realistic in certain different sense. And another type of a personality is artistic people. And these people are like creating something new. It can be the new idea or new things. So artistic people is a musician and painter and poet and and so on. That kind of the personality. But opposite style is a conventional people. So rather than having new idea, they feel there's too much overwhelmed. I need some control of my work. So they are conforming the rule already set up. And in that situation, they feel really comfortable. So these people are working with a documentation and paper and working in office and just following the rules already set up. So office secretary or programmer, so the data, the things. So sometimes the artistic people can work in an engineer as an engineer. If they develop new software, it can be this type of the personality. But same engineer occupation, but if their personality is that more the rigid or restricted old idea and they want to control the things, then maybe they deal with the data already set up. So different types of this. So if you have certain types of personality, it can be just one very prominent, or it can be combination of the 2 out of 6. Then there is a list of the occupation can be suggestible to the certain type of personality. So that's the whole in the idea. Good match of the personality with a career choice. It can be a good turnout. Have the high level of life satisfaction and high level of performance. So that's the whole idea. But as you see that there is some the limitation of all three theories. They focus on very idea, like matching things and developmental changes. But think of yourself, even though you know that your personality, but there is other reasons you cannot make a decision to pursue that direction. For example, even though you are a very artistic people and you create things, new things and new idea, and you have a really good job doing in it, but to have a job, those the artistic job, you probably think of other things. Maybe your parents agree for your choice, or you can think about the art salary. You can be satisfied with an unstable position as artist. So not necessarily just the personality. or self-concept have a determinant of your career. Other things have also the lots of complicated factors we need to pay attention to understand the career development. So in these days, people have some emphasis of the role of the cognitive factors. So when we explore things and decision making and planning things, we cognitively think many variables. So that's their emphasis that. So the adolescents often approach exploration, decision making, with the very key ambiguity and uncertainty and stresses. So we needed to give certain factors. They needed to sit down and list up the factors, and it's very important to them. And that is all cognitive variables. And I'm going to go in detail later, the next slide. And before that, it's identity development is another issue we needed to think of in career development issues. Usually career development is closely related to the identity development itself in general. For example, if you have achieved solid your identity and you are very comfortable who you are, then probably it's easier for you to come up with your career choice. That's what we call the career identity, the vocational identity. And next slide shows that this is the American data, but I think that there's some overlap with other cultures also. This is a grade A's, 10 and 12, and different aspects of the identity, vocational, and this is more ideological identity, and religious and lifestyle and political identity, and divided by achievement and moratorium. How many adolescents achieve vocational identity? How many adolescents have in the situation moratorium stage of vocational identity? So that's the way you can read and interpret these findings here. So as you see that it's increasing number of adolescents have more achieved their own identity. But see that like a 12th, the grade of the final grade of the high school, less than 50% of the adolescents in America, they achieve a vocational identity. And similar, it's a more increasing number. See that it's a higher percentage of the adolescents achieve the vocational things, but less in the political. So it shows that the people have solid identity, then that's really help to develop vocational identity. So identity issues, another issues. And as I told you that many different factors have to cognitively interpret and understand the role of career development. So here, socio-economic status. So if you are the kids coming from very poor family, then probably you have a pressure from your family to make money earlier. So rather than study more and having a PhD or a master's degree, you right away after graduation of the college, you have to make money to support your family. So that's the things that we need to take a consideration of. And parents and peers are the pressure. What particular career your parents push you? If you have a really strong pressure, then that's the factors probably you need to take a consideration of. And school influences, like for example, our school is a women's university. There is a different kinds of the trend of the career choice. So those are school influences we can think of. Like even though same major, engineering major in a women's university and a mixed university, their choice of the career would be different because of the school influences. And very important things in gender. And if you have a very traditional gender role script in your mind, then probably it's hard to apply for the unconventional job for women. For example, it's hard for you to apply for the engineer, or it's difficult to imagine that you are going to be the soldier or working in a forest, because you feel that that is more the masculine type of the job. Same things for men. If the man has the interest in and working with the people, and more caring things, but usually conventionally, traditionally, that is a woman's job. It's difficult to apply for that. So see that the social demographics of jobs, like more than 98% of the preschool teachers is women, maybe because of the gender influences, not because the females, all of the women's wanting to be the preschool, the teachers. So there's other issues we needed to think of that. And also ethnic background, minorities, the adolescents, as a minority, there is a limitation to pursue certain high prestigious the jobs, and then they have to consider that. There's lots of obstacles to pursue those high level of the jobs. Okay, thank you very much. To wrap up today's lessons, we think of that work, and you remember that even though there is a positive aspect of the work, it's necessary in these days, but motivation is very important. And I should just encourage you to have a long-term perspective when you work and have a job. Has to be related to the future potential career. If you just focus on short-term goal to make money and to satisfy your the present need, then maybe more negative influences and you lower down your GPA. And in the long run, those you have payoff those the lower GPA. And another issues, remember the career issues and career development theories are major theories we covered, and they have some contribution to understand. But in these days and other areas and other factors have to be understood in career development.